Algeria final round group match in Group B. Here we are, underway. Morocco with a kickoff, defending the goal. High towards the back post. Keeper keeps it out and gets a punch away. And that's straight back in the end, won by 5 goals to 0. Now Zraidi looking to turn her way through defence. Shot comes in from Shepard. Morocco! Let's go! It's the captain. Wide. Nigeria looking for the equaliser. Into the penalty area. Ball across. Al Hajj. Looking for Zraidi. She slipped a little bit. It's fallen for Masudi. Chance for number 2. Morocco have doubled the score. Are they on their way to the combinations title? Okoronkwo against Murici. Okoronkwo sends her the wrong way. Nigeria right back in it. Excellent penalty.
Well taken. Okoronkwo full of confidence. 4th goal for her for the tournament. Cool, calm.
Still Okoronkwo with an opportunity for her second. Squares the ball. Nigeria are right back in it. Ijabi Lucy. The strength of Okoronkwo. And Nigeria with the corner. Good floater into that penalty area. Uzraoui. Saud. Good skills. Floated up. Running onto it. They've got a third. Nigeria are about to pull off a massive...
To return to bring you up to speed with what's happening in the world of sports this morning. Those were sights and sounds of the finals of the just concluded WAFCON, where the Super Falcons of Nigeria were crowned champion. They arrived to the shores of a country yesterday, also having a presidential reception with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Reactions continue to trail after the Super Falcons were crowned champions for the 10th time. And there were a splash of gift items, cash prizes yesterday at the Aso Rock Villa. Super Eagles players, some of them have also splashed the cash on the Super Falcons players due to being crowned champions of a just concluded WAFCON. We'll take a look at what's happening in the world of tennis this morning, with top-level competition still up and running. We'll also look at the world of football with transfer speculations also dominating the papers this particular morning. Pre-season games are still up and running. The home-based Eagles are preparing for the start of the CHAN tournament. Yesterday they were in action, a friendly game, preparatory game if you like, ahead of the start of the CHAN tournament, scheduled for next month. It is all but confirmed we're expecting the Nigeria Premier Football League to start next month as well. We'll tell you about the fixtures and what to expect in match day 1. I am Mutabe David. But before we talk about all of these stories extensively, let's first of all bring you up to speed what's happening, what's trending in the ever-exciting world of sports. Welcome once again to the show. Well, the conversation this morning starts from the world of tennis, where Emma Raducanu continued the winning feeling by sealing a comfortable victory on her opening match of the National Bank Open in Montreal on Monday. She picked up statement wins over Martha Kostyuk, 4-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka, and former world number 3 Maria Sakkari, en route to the Final Four in Washington last week. And she continued the feel-good factor at the WTA 1000 tournament in Canada. Raducanu, who jumped 13 places in the rankings, so world number 33 to reclaim her position as British number 1 East pass Elena Gabriela Ruser from Romania's 6-2-6-4 in front of coach Mark Pecci after their partnership was left up in the air following a Wimbledon third-round defeat. Raducanu, who will next face American 32nd seed Patton Stearns in the second round. Away from that, Christian Skolkets captured a maiden win over a top 50 opponent just yesterday at the National Bank Open in Toronto, where he upset next-gen ATP star Joe Fonseca 7-6-6-4. In the first-round clash between the two debutants at the Canadian ATP Masters 1000 event qualifier, Skolkets overwhelmed Fonseca with controlled and consistent aggression behind his serve, dropping just 4 of 37 first serve points, according to the stats. With his 1 hour and 33 minutes victory, the 24-year-old Australian is up for sport to a career-high number 98 in the ATP Live rankings, while Fonseca was competing for the first time since his third-round run at Wimbledon. Skolkets arrived in Toronto fresh from reaching his first ATP Tour quarterfinal in Les Cabos 2 weeks ago and will next face Italy's Matteo Naldi. Well, straight to the world of athletics, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria has announced that Yabatech Sports Complex in Lagos as the host venue for the 2025 World Championship Trials, scheduled to take place from July 31 to August 2. The decision was finalized on Monday, just 3 days before the event, following uncertainties surrounding the initial venue, the MKO Abiola Sports Arena in Abeokuta, which was not cleared by World Athletics. The trials serve as a mandatory selection event for Nigeria's senior athletics team ahead of the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. World record holder in the women's 100-meter hurdles, Tobia Musan, is already in the country and was seen training at Yabatech alongside fellow hurdler Adaobi Tabugbo last week. Meanwhile, Nigeria's relay teams are still chasing qualification for the World Championships after missing the World Relays in May. They can still secure their spots by ranking among the best teams globally before the qualification window closes on August 24. To the world of basketball this morning, where Nigeria's D Tigers staged an incredible comeback to beat Mozambique 60 to 55 points in the women's Afro basket in Cote d'Ivoire. After a tough first half, D Tigers stayed on course to win Mozambique and book a place in the quarterfinals. The Mozambique side came out strong and stayed in control for most of the game, but Nigeria's resilience showed off when it mattered most. Ezine Kalu stepped up big with 16 points despite a few missed free throws from the line, while Promise Amukamara dropped 13 points, hitting 3 of her 7 shots before beyond the arc. Mojanatu Musa gave a solid minutes in the pens, finishing with 12 points on 6 of 11 shooting. Well, finally, now from the world of football, Pep Guardiola has reiterated that he would take a break from coaching after leaving Manchester City, admitting that Manchester City could be, and his years out of a job could be 15 years. The Spaniard, who's 54 years of age, is the most successful manager in City's history, having won 18 trophies, including 6 Premier League titles and the Champions League. His contract expired in 2027, while Guardiola has not specified when he will leave the club. He has once again claimed his sabbatical is decided. Pep Guardiola, who signed a contract extension at Manchester City in November, is coming off a difficult season at Manchester City. The club finished trophyless for the first time since Guardiola took the helm in 2016. They begin their Premier League campaign against Wolverhampton Wanderers on August 16 this year. Well, that's all we have for you at this time. We'll take a very short breather. When we return, we'll have an extensive conversation on the show. Do stay with us.
Here we are, underway. Morocco with a kick-off, defending the goal. Right towards the back post. Keeper keeps an eye on it, gets a punch away. And that's straight back in the end, won by 5 goals to 0. Now, Jraidi looking to turn her way through the fence. Shot comes in from Shema. Morocco! Let's go! It's the captain. Nigeria looking for the equaliser. Into the penalty area. Ball across. Haj. Looking for Jraidi. She slipped a little bit. It's fallen from Masudi. Chance for number 2. Morocco have doubled the score. Are they on their way to the combinations title? Okoronkwo against Murici. Okoronkwo sends her the wrong way. Nigeria right back in it. Excellent penalty.
Well taken. Okoronkwo full of confidence. 4th goal for her for the tournament. Cool, calm.
Still Okoronkwo with an opportunity for her second. Squares the ball. Nigeria are right back in it. Ijami Lucy. The strength of Okoronkwo and Nigeria with the corner. Good floater into that penalty area. Uzraoui, Saud. Good skills. Floated up. Running onto it, they've got a third! Nigeria are about to pull off a massive turnaround. Okoronkwo's free kick swept Nigeria.
Christy, you are not smiling like a champion. I bet change to Cambaso. Change to Cambaso. Look decent, look nice.
In addition, there is a cash award of the Naira equivalents of 100,000 US dollars each to the 24 players and the equivalent of 50,000 of the strength of the Nigerian spirit. Nothing else could have, represented this. Crucial time, crucial victory. On behalf of the grateful nation, I hereby conferred on the players the 11-man technical team with national honor of officer. Additionally, I hereby direct the allocation
technical crew, and on and on and on. The Governors Forum in Nigeria has also sent certain amount of money. I hear about 350 million naira. I don't know what a conversion is in dollars is that conversation. And similarly, Super Eagles players also made that donation. Headlining that is the captain of the side, William Truseko, Ola Aina, and the rest of them. Some of them, not all of them. So maybe donation gets to continue to happen, because we've not heard from the big striker Victor Osimhen yet. He's earning a lot of money, so you should donate to these ladies. Many people are saying, so good to see you now. Many cash being given for good performance. Well, sadly, it's not going to reach us.
It's all, it's all. The president of the federation actually listened to many Nigerians. They just had to listen to that as well, and they did that as well in one of the speech of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Made a whole lot of sense. I'm quite happy. Yes, they are consolidated based on the performance. I mean, that's humongous amount of money, Blyden. Over 150 something million naira for every single player. It shows you how, of course, proud the president is with the girls and how far they've actually come. 10-time champions. I mean, no mean feat. It's not quite an easy task, basically. And I must commend the girl for, all of these as well. They're also given houses in Abuja. Yeah. That's what I had as well.
3-bedroom.
So that's a whole lot, I must say, at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think, just like I had that conversation before the start of the show.
You know why I'm laughing already. Go ahead.
I'm just quite concerned about the fact that, yes, these speeches are made, but can we have immediate, implementation? Takes my mind back to last month where we were talking about the class of, was it 1995 or thereabouts, the Super Eagles at the time, where many years after, some of them got that particular, promise under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I just hope it won't be the same for the ladies. Their promise, implementation, fulfill the promise as quick as possible. So it would also go in line with the joy they're having at the moment.
All right. One of the houses, and the other one is for you to really get these. It casts my mind back to 1996 Olympic Games. Choma Ojunwa in Nigeria's first Olympic gold medal in long jump. But guess what? The Lagos State government at the time had promised her 3-bedroom apartment, just as the Super Falcons are being promised 3-bedroom apartment. They never gave it to her. It has to do with just recently as the Super Falcons who had 3-bedroom apartment after 25 years, as reported.
That's a whole lot.
Quite interesting. She had to wait for 25 years to get her 3-bedroom apartment. Interesting to really talk about. So many are saying, well, it shouldn't be the case with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where the promise is being given. But one promise that stands still, it's already automatic to them, is the owners are getting as officer of
the Order of Niger.
The Order of the Niger. So now you say Ashley Plumter. OON. Interesting. And we talk about Rashida Ajibade.
I already saw that on Twitter, handle. I do not know whether she was given before now, because I'm seeing ON on Rashida Ajibade's handle. Maybe due to that pronouncement.
Maybe it's just a way of that checking. She's not kicked the ball during the tournament. Would be Chioma, what's the surname now? That was supposed to go to Malawi. And joined the Super Falcons of Nigeria, Chioma. And interestingly, she's not kicked the ball, got Order of the Niger. Chioma Okafo, officer of the Order of the Niger. Quite interesting. I'm going to give you one anyway. Whether you get it from the Federal Republic of Nigeria or not.
Give the award.
No, it starts with the award first. You have to be a member of the Order of Spectrum. One word here before you get to talk about others. But interesting times ahead. Let's quickly get to talk about sport. And in the course of it, we'll get to listen to the captain of the Super Falcons of Nigeria and hear what she had to say, a speech that she gave after the president had done the announcement. And one of those key conversations from one of the best teams in the world, all the way going. We'll see how that works for them. But let's start a conversation from the world of tennis then and see the traction in the world of tennis from the National Bank Open. We saw that Emma Raducanu pulling and advancing to the second round of National Bank Open in this one. Quite good. Emma Raducanu has been building that conversation. One word, the last tournament we saw her participate somewhat somehow got to a heightened level after, especially after beating former world number 1 Naomi Osaka. We're hoping she could go all the way. Faltered aligned along the way, but not necessary.
Not the dominant progress where men would actually want to ask what kind of progress I'm talking about. I'm talking about the very fact that, in recent times, there have not really been reoccurrence of injuries for the lady at the moment. So she has also been able to, play consistently on top-level competitions. That's the level of consistency I was expected from her in recent times. But unfortunately, marred by several injury worries, culminated in some, of course, but dip in form as well, which I could also understand in that particular manner. But now the last 3 competitions, she has stayed fit. And that's where we've seen some level of progress. As that yesterday, she already overtook Katie Bolter as British number one. So that shows you the progress of Emma Raducanu at the moment. And I'm delighted about that particular fact. The very first factor, as I've always re-echoed, is the fact that you have to stay fit to compete at top level. So now she's fit. I want to see her more, and then I'll definitely start talking about her, competing for titles. Basically, I do not still feel she's in the right frame of mind to compete at top level, winning 1,000 Masters event. The Emma Raducanu win you last year, where she would participate in a competition, second round, she's already injured. I think she's beginning to overcome all of that at the moment. And maybe in the next couple of months to come, we can still talk about competing for titles. But at the moment, big progress, I must say, for the British.
A big progress for the British. Emma Raducanu becoming a British number 1 after recent slam. Is that conversation. Consistency always going to be a thing, but it speaks volume about the likes of Katie Bolter, and we're talking about a British contingent in the women's game, the WTA contingent. They're not doing so well, and that's why Emma Raducanu, despite being pretty inconsistent most of the time, still returning to become a British number 1 in the women's game. Still within the context of the National Bank Open, we see Lara Sigmuth defeating Tajana Maria in a marathon match, and still within Montreal, the National Bank Open, Naomi Osaka has to leave our coach Patrick Maratoglu in this regard, and will trial with Thomas Witoreski. David is always going to be that concern. Before, it used to be Emma Raducanu changing coaches, and now we're seeing it with Naomi Osaka. Sometimes you get to blame the coach, but sometimes it's not just about a coach. What's happening in this one?
Well, I think it's been quite a wave in recent times. Coco Gauff also did that earlier this year, changing our coach, and now Naomi Osaka. I do not know the reason why, because I could also understand the fact that since she returned from maternity leave, it hasn't been quite a rosy ride for her. Getting into competitions, being quite dominant as well. We've also got a few of those competitions where she's actually made her way to the 5th round, the 4th round, basically, but not really being able to cross that line has also been quite of course, a question mark at the moment. For a lady who returned since last year, many will expect her to, go past where we've seen her in recent times. Maybe that's one of the reasons she's saying, maybe the coach hasn't done enough. I have to, of course, pitch my tent with another. But we hear the next coach is on trial. So how, of course, certain it is that there will be massive improvement during those trial periods for the new coach, I do not know at the moment. But I just feel maybe it could also in turn bring something quite positive for Naomi Osaka at the moment. She's not just the first player who's returned from maternity leave. We've had one who returned from maternity leave and already gotten 2 titles in the bag. So I think Naomi Osaka should actually follow that suit. But at the moment, it's still back and forth for her. We just wish that the new coach would definitely come in handy and provide some level of stability for the Japanese.
A new coach comes handy and provides stability for her. We'll see how that pans out for her. And quickly, other games that took place at the National Bank Open this morning. Maria Sakkari also beating her opponent, Brinstein, 6-2, 3-6, 7-5, a victory for Maria Sakkari. And the likes of Rosic getting a victory against Potapova in this one. And Bouchard beating Arango. Similarly, Marino against Emma Navarro. Would be next to look forward to in the round of 16 at the National Bank Open. But further games will take place the likes of Jamstrenka against Osorio, and we're talking about Blinkova against Kasatskina in this one. Well, quickly, let's talk about the main game in the world of tennis. Still the National Bank Open, and we're talking about the likes of Skokets getting a better of Fonseca with saving a clinic in Toronto. Well, it passed through the ranking point. Alex de Minaur returning to the top 10 following Washington and win. We'll get to talk about Alex de Minaur with a bit of just a beat of what's happening in the men's category. Maybe not the biggest of structure to think about now, but we can look at some of these games that are taking place.
Aside the games that are taking place in the first round of the competition, because not so many top names, maybe we could talk about Fonseca being, of course, quite a notable name right there. But holistically, I'm looking at the Montreal Open as, yes, a platform where we may just likely see a new face, maybe not so top-seeded player, get this particular one. Maybe in the build-up to the start of the National Bank Open, recall that current world number 1 and number 2, Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner, already said they won't be part of this particular competition. So that paves way for the likes of Daniil Medvedev, who've been quite poor, Alexander Zverev, Yannick Sinner, all of those players who've been below par in terms of performance, in terms of winning titles, to win this particular title. It is a big competition, as a matter of fact. So I'm looking forward to see now, no top names, so maybe the top 2 names in this competition. So a big, opening now for all the players. So a big, opening now for all the players who've not really done well this particular year to compete at top level. That's what I'm looking forward to see. If they falter their lines at the early stages of a competition, then we can actually say it is not just a clear case of top-seeded players being quite a stumbling block for them. It is a clear case of not being clinical and staying consistent on all of these competitions we've seen so far.
All of these competition we've seen so far. And quickly, let's talk about ranking point for the likes of Alex de Minaur, what he's been able to achieve. And now moving in the top 10 in the world after that performance at Washington. Well, winning the Washington competition, DC Open, was absolutely fantastic for Alex de Minaur, the Australian international. But somehow, he's found a way adding up the number. And it brings a conversation we always talk about. When he do so well,
the top 10. And there were question marks as regards why he's still in the top 10. But he was busy, of course, building those points, getting to the semi-finals of the event. So Alex de Minaur's return to top 10 wasn't just a clear case of winning the Washington Open. It was a clear case of, being quite consistent, at least making it to the quarterfinals of, competition since the start of the year. In some way, he can't actually make it, at least finishing the 5th round. So I think in some way he can't actually make it, at least finishing the 5th round. So I think it's a clear case of, progress for Alex. A long period of time. Because it's one thing to break in. What happens after the Toronto Open? Will he, of course, still be in the top 10? That's another question. The Toronto Open, will he, of course, still be in the top 10? That's another question. But I think I'm quite happy about the progress at the moment. And I just wish he stays and compete at top level for as long as possible. Otherwise, other players who are out may return after this particular competition?
Well, Alex Timina has been the biggest mover in the ranking point. Definitely what number one. We're talking about Yannick Sinner with 12,080 points in that regard. And we're talking about Carlos Alcaraz at number 2, 8,600 ranking point. Alexander Zverev, number 3, 6,080 ranking point. Number 4, Taylor Fritz of the United States of America. At number 6, Novak Djokovic, 4,180 ranking point. Ben Shelton of the United States at number 7, 3,520 ranking point, plus a positive 190 deserving point in that. We're talking about number 8, Alex de Minaur. His moves 5 points, that is from number 12 thereabout to number 8, and 3,335 ranking point for him, a positive 450 points underkept for him. Holger at number 9, 3,250 ranking points, no defending point for him. And while we're talking about Max the top 10, we have the likes Andre Rublev, Francis Tiafoe at 11 and on, Casper Ruud and Danny Medvedev at 14. Well, I wouldn't dwell on the likes of Danny Medvedev because the question would be, why always Danny being at that level? Quickly, before we go on that break and talk about football stories, let's talk about the Afro basketball that's taking place, and the T-Tigers are being able to fight back after losing the first quarter in the Afro basketball competition, and now zooming into the quarterfinals for them after this performance. Is the lads showed class and dominance in this one. The coach of the side also doing well, but the conversation is the Mozambican counterparts. Well, they have to go through the playoffs in order to see if they can qualify for the quarterfinals. We're looking forward to defend that title, and they're really on course.
Well, first of all, I would say congratulations to the D-Tigers of Nigeria, deserving. They are the defending champions of the tournament. So
I want to say congratulations. It's beginning to feel as if they won the tournament.
They're just a few steps, closer to making it to the finals.
That's still a journey anyway.
Yeah, a journey, as a matter of fact. But we're also talking about one of the biggest names, as it has to do with, Afro Basket Women's, championship on the continent of Africa. The likes of Izine Konkwo are doing quite well. At the point they were actually trailing in this game, but not for the quality of the side.
First quarter,
absolutely.
They were behind. I think with 13-9 it was.
Absolutely. With Coach Rena Wakama also, being quite, competitive in terms of, her tactics, bringing it to forward to ensure that the D-Tigers got this victory at the end. The last time they faced Mozambique, same in this competition, they actually escaped by the Whiskers. Small margin victory. So it certainly shows you the quality of Mozambicans at the moment. It's not just a clear case of, Nigeria having dominance or quality over the Mozambique side. So I think it's a clear case of, Nigeria still having that fighting spirit and also ensuring that some way, somehow, they have to make it to the finals as the defending champions. So at the moment, I still feel that they've got a whole lot of job to do to defend that title. I think it's still a long walk from here, but I believe that Coach Rena Wakama knows what's at stake and will definitely fight till the end.
Definitely fighting till the end. It's that conversation for them. Well, they can't afford not to fight. I've seen what the WAFCON girls had done, talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Then the D-Tigers, they've been such in splific form, and they have to continue in that form. Meanwhile, in regarding this form, I will quickly go on a short break, and when we're back, our form also continues. Looking at football stories all around the world and the traction that comes with it. Don't go anywhere.
With Algeria, final round group match in Group B. Here we are, underway. Morocco with a kickoff, defending the goal. High towards the back post. Keeper keeps an eye on it, gets a punch away. And that's straight back in the end, won by 5 goals to 0. Now, Zraidi looking to turn her way through the fence. Shot comes in from Shepard. Morocco! Let's go! It's the captain. Wide. Nigeria looking for the equalizer. Into the penalty area. Ball across. Al Hajj. Looking for Zraidi. She slipped a little bit. It's fallen from Masudi. Chance for number 2. score? Are they on their way to the combinations title? Okoronkwo against Murichi. Okoronkwo sends it the wrong way. Nigeria right back in it. Excellent penalty.
Well taken. Okoronkwo full of confidence. Fourth goal for her for the tournament. Cool, calm.
Still Okoronkwo with an opportunity for her second. Squares the ball. Nigeria are right back in it. Ijami Lucy. The strength of Okoronkwo and Nigeria with the corner. Good floater into that penalty area. Uzraoui, Saud. Good skills. Floated up. Running onto it, they've got a third! Nigeria are about to, for a 10th time.
In addition,
Welcome back here to Sports Central. My name is Vladimir Davis here with me for company. Funny on the sidelines, also monitoring proceedings and making sure that things are going the way it ought to be, just like the Super Falcons of Nigeria won the WAFCON. We're trying to win in all of it. Well, let's begin a conversation looking at a friendly that took place between Super Eagles B team that began the CHAN preparation against the opponent Zanzibar and it was a stalemate. Well, CHAN preparation has been taking center stage and we're looking forward to the tournament. Will start August 2nd and span through August 30th is that conversation. Meanwhile, still regarding CHAN, we hear that CAF had announced a record $10.4 million for CHAN prize money. Well, to a somewhat somehow, Patrice Musepe, the head of CAF, has been increasing the prize money for the team, similarly to what he did with the Women's Nations Cup. Yeah. Sadly, the winner of the Women's Nations Cup took home $1 million US dollars, but we're talking about this one, about $3.4 million US dollars would be the prize and money for the winner of it at the end of it. CHAN is here, and Musepe is doing quite well in terms of prize money.
Well, I think I'm quite happy about the very fact that the CAF president is also beginning to pay more attention to CHAN tournament, because in time past, it has been more like something where you get to see nations pull out, because it doesn't really create that monetary value for those national teams as regards what they get to spend all through the entire duration of the tournament. So increasing that prize money by 75%. Before now, previously, CHAN winners used to go home with $2 million. So now that's 3 point something, over 75% increase, bringing to that particular tournament. And he also made one statement that, as you feel at the moment, it would also, of course, catch other nations who need to develop, our leagues across, the continent of Africa, not just those players who are going to, represent their respective countries at the CHAN tournament, what I think is quite something good, especially at the moment, looking at the fact that many nations before now were not interested in CHAN tournament. So now there will be more interest. We'll definitely see in the next edition, probably 2-3 countries come bid for this particular tournament, because there have been so much interest from CAF now. And also looking at the monetary value it brings, I think it would be something more like interesting for all of these nations to participate. I'm quite happy the way it's going, the trajectory is going. I just wish at the end of it, the federations that gets to win this particular, prize money, invest in their league domestically, it will also bring some dividends to that particular nation.
It will bring dividends to the particular nation. 19 teams will feature in this one alongside the team that's won this tournament the most. We're talking about Morocco, the defending champion Senegal, and trust me, the Chan Eagles, Super Eagles Team B of Nigeria being part of this mix. Well, of what we want to really look forward to, the list from Eric Charles was out, and the players are bubbling and ready for the competition. Quickly, as we said when we started the show, talked about a report looking at government splashing about 4.95 billion naira on the Super Falcons. So the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, splashed 602 billion naira on the Super Falcons and the technical crew cumulatively, and alongside we hear the Governors Forum had also given them 350 million naira, so total amount of money amounting to 4.95 billion naira to the entirety of the Falcons crew. And that was when the Falcons were having that handshake. Before now, David, it was handshake without money. Sometimes we complain about it, getting that presidential handshake, some of them kneeling, prostrating and giving that honor to the president based on that culture, some standing. It doesn't matter what's up, but you've gotten the presidential handshake. But we hear the likes of Finan Trusekong and Ademola Lookman, Ola Aina, others have gifted the Super Falcons 24 million naira in that direction. Similarly, Remo Stars have begun their title defense against Rivers United as fixture unveiled. Well, at the end of the show, we'll get to hear the speech from the captain of the side, Rasheedat Ajibade, but that will be at the end of the show because time already catching up with us. But let's quickly talk about transfers. Sunderland agrees £17 million Shaka and Gani Shaka deal with Leverkusen. Well, maybe we get to talk about justice now because I don't understand how Granit Xhaka gets to do it. When he left Arsenal, so had contract with Arsenal, he said I needed to go and left for Bayer Leverkusen. At this time, performed quite well with Bayer Leverkusen. He still had about 3 years contract with Bayer Leverkusen, and he told the board, he said, look, I have an agreement with Sunderland. How do you have an agreement with Sunderland when you're still having a contract with another club? But I thought it was not going to happen because Eric Ten Hag came out and said, look, we've lost about 3 key players now. We're not losing another key player. But finally, he's going to Sunderland.
I think there are different circumstances warranting those leaves across the last 2 football clubs. First, it was about having issues with Arsenal, particularly that prompted Mikel Arteta to be very precise. At Bayer Leverkusen, you look at it now realistically. First of all, Xabi Alonso has left the football club. A couple of other players who were named star players at that particular team have also left. So, however you want to look at it, the Bayer Leverkusen we saw last season will not be the same this season.
It's a shadow of itself
so,
now.
Moving to Sunderland, playing in the Premier League, the Stadium of Light, something attractive to any footballer.
The Stadium of Light comes with that attraction, just like the Theatre of Dreams. Anyway, what it makes is fantastic name for some of the stadiums in England. Well, quickly, we hear that Newcastle are opening talks to sign Southampton's Ramsdale. That's Ollie Watkins and Sesko ahead. Manchester United, a striker wish list. Well, what's set to bounce? Pep Guardiola says he may take 15-year break after leaving Manchester City. He should have gotten a bit of contract with Manchester City.
Signed.
But he's saying, look, when I leave this club, I'm taking that break. He doesn't know how long it's going to be. He needs to take care of the family. There were times of a rumor he's left his wife. I don't know how that's been settled, but the life of a coach is very easy.
A whole lot. I mean, the point when we're talking about Manchester City dominating the Premier League, I mean, it wasn't so easy. It required a whole lot of work for Pep Guardiola to be able to stamp that authority and ensure he wins as much as we are seeing at the moment. So I think taking sabbatical, maybe a few years out of football, could also in turn bring something quite good for him, and then he returns quite energized and refreshed ahead of another challenge if he wants to.
Well, what's still waiting for when Jurgen Klopp will return? He went on that break and it's not happened yet. Similarly, we've seen Pep Guardiola go on a break, a sabbatical, but afterwards return. That was when he was at Barcelona. As we set to bounce, we hear that Jack Grealish returns to Manchester City training amid transfer uncertainty, and Juve are eyeing permanent Kolo Muani move. And just like Chelsea are closing in on a deal worth more than 40 million euros for Jorel Hiatus. It's almost done from Ajax Amsterdam. Emmanuel Gata's players still believe in Ruben Amorim. I don't know if we told David and Fontaine, I guess you believe in Ruben Amorim. No problem. I believe in you. We get to bounce. Thank you for being a part of it. I know you like to talk about Ruben Amorim, but time is out. Thank you for being a part of the show.
We'll talk more later tomorrow.
All right. Exciting times ahead. We'll bounce here. My name is Bladder Kim and it's Sports Central. Thank you for being a part of it. Finally, as we bounce, you get to hear a speech from the Super Falcons captain at the awards, talking about what the future holds for the Super Falcons of Nigeria.
Good evening, everyone. Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished members of the government, Honorable Minister of Sport, esteemed officials and proud Nigerians. Today I stand before you not just as a captain of Super Falcons, but as proud daughter of Nigeria, carrying the dreams, resilience and spirit of our great nation. On behalf of my teammates, coaches and technical staffs, I express our heartfelt gratitude for this warm reception and for the unwavering belief you have shown in us. To the Presidency, the Ministry of Sports, the Nigerian Football Federation, and every Nigerian who has cheered us on from home and abroad, thank you for being our strength, our inspiration, and our home. We could not have done this without every one of you. This win is for all of us. Your Excellency, our journey to this moment has been one of great determination and courage. We have faced the best teams in the world and had our own on the global stage. At the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, we stood toe-to-toe with giants, even defeating a formidable Australian in their home stadium.